Good morning, everyone. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com with your morning market outlook for Friday, May 22nd, 2026. On Friday mornings, I like to print off some weekly charts just to see how the week has progressed. We've had lots of volatility in the oil sector. We've had crude oil making a new high this week before pulling back down just under 4%. We've got gasoline, which also made a new high, has pulled back, is currently trading below last week's low, and we're down a little over 6% on the week. Looking at gold, almost unchanged, a little bit of strength into silver, up a little over 0.5%, no change there. Looking at the Canadian market, we're up just under 1%, while the US market is up 0.5%, and we're having an inside week, and we've got the NASDAQ up 0.8%, and then semiconductors up over 3%. We've not made a new high this week just yet. That could change on Friday. The gold and silver index down a little over 1%. And then looking at NVIDIA, the biggest stock out there, it's having an inside week. It's down a little over 2.5% for the week so far. Now, this morning, we do have stock index futures trading slightly higher on the morning. We've got commodities mixed with crude oil higher once again, while gold is down $20 in the pre-market on Friday morning. Now, Thursday turned out to be a very quiet day for the overall market, but there was a whole bunch of individual stocks that popped and dropped yesterday. Starting off with Walmart. Walmart reported they had a lot of negative things to say about the U.S. economy, and we've been talking about that big disconnect between Main Street and Wall Street. And so yesterday it finally showed up in one particular stock. So there's a Walmart dropping sharply yesterday. Now, Walmart is a Dow 30 stock. IBM is a Dow 30 stock, and it was up yesterday, up over 12%. And so they kind of canceled each other out. So there we're looking to see if IBM can get out above the April high, which took us up to the flypaper channel in April. So now we're back in the flypaper channel, looking to see if we can break out above it this time around for IBM. Now, Intuit was the biggest loser on the S&P 500 yesterday. Intuit has been trading below the flypaper channel for a long time now. So when you're scanning through stocks and you've got opportunities with the stock above the flypaper channel or below it, you have to remember that anything trading below the flypaper channel, the market hates. Anything that's trading above the flypaper channel, those are the stocks the market loves. And so if you're buying a stock that is below the flypaper channel, you know that it probably has limited opportunity to the upside. Whereas if you're following a stock that's trading above the flypaper channel, it can go to infinity. There's nothing really to stop it moving higher. So the opportunity when you're looking at the two, balancing which stock you should follow, you should always be following stocks that are trading above the flypaper channel. Looking at the VIX, very quiet yesterday, no change in trend there. So we know options traders are not spooked coming into Friday's trading action. Looking at the major index ETF, starting off with the iShares for the TSX 60, up a little over 0.25%, making a new high. We hit our next price target yesterday. Now we're looking to see if we can break out above that and move up to 51.56. There's the Vanguard Canada ETF up over 0.75% yesterday, heading towards 70.31. The high yesterday was 70.22, so we know that $70 is no longer a big round number that's going to act as resistance. Looking at the energy sector, down just 2 cents yesterday, no big deal. Now, financials were up just under 1%, while bank stocks were up over 1%. So bank stocks leading the Canadian market higher once again. Gold stocks, they were up 10 cents yesterday. No major change there. Then we've got both technology and telecom both edging over the upper channel line. So both are technically back on buy signals as of Thursday's close. Looking at the U.S. market, the Vanguard Total Market ETF was up 0.25% yesterday. A little more strength in the Dow. The Dow was up over 0.5%, making a new high here for this move, and closing above the $500 level. So we're still stuck to 500, but we did close above it yesterday. Looking at the S&P 500, we're up 0.2%, so less than the Vanguard Total Market ETF, and the NASDAQ was even less than that. So very quiet trading day for those two major indices. We had a lot more volatility in mid caps, small caps, and micro caps, which all ended back on a buy signal as of Thursday's close. We did have the energy sector down on the day, no change in trend. US financials, US bank stocks, the market's still really not interested in these stocks at this time. Looking at semiconductors, they were up just over 0.5% on the day, so no major move there. Then moving on to the most actively traded stocks from Thursday's trading action, and not a lot of trend changes here. It was a fairly quiet day overall. Canadian Natural Resources, no change. New high for Enbridge, heading towards the top of our projected trading range, not only on the daily charts, but the weekly chart as well. And of course, this chart is from last Friday. Then looking at Suncor, no change there. New high for Keel on Thursday. Manulife is back on a buy signal, but just above this level is the top of the open gap, which could potentially act as resistance. Then we're looking at TELUS, looking for a close on Friday above 1724 to give us a new buy signal. No change for Baytech, no change for Whitecap. Certainly no change for Equinox Gold, making a new low for this move, but has not taken out the March low just yet. There's a new high for BlackBerry on Thursday. Heading towards 938, got as high as 927 yesterday. And of course, above that, our next mathematical target is 1016, but you've got to drop $10 in there as a potential target to the upside for BlackBerry. Let's finish off this morning's presentation, taking a look at some of the U.S. most active, starting off with NVIDIA. NVIDIA traded down yesterday, looking for a close on Friday below $217.02 to give us a new sell signal. A couple of stocks that popped on news from the government yesterday, Rigetti and D-Wave, both popping higher on Thursday. Then we had Plug Power up on the day. We've got American Airlines still on a sell signal here, making a new high for this move. And so there's a couple of higher lows, and now we've got a new higher high. So that might be pointing in the right direction for American Airlines. Intel, no change for Intel, no change for NEO. Still on a sell signal here. No change for Ford. Now, Ford recently ran up and tagged the 1484 level, which is where it topped out back in February. So that is a major area of resistance for Ford. Then looking at NU, we traded up to the upper channel line yesterday, still a few cents away from generating a buy signal on Friday with a close above 1321. No change for Nokia on Thursday, new high for Apple on Thursday. Trading above the $300 level, closing at $304.99 with a low of $300.40. So $300 now acting as support. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful long weekend in the U.S. I will be back on Sunday to do a weekly presentation. I will not do a presentation on Monday. I will be back on Tuesday morning to take a look at the markets. So again, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.